Hey there, everybody. It's meteorologist Jamie Singleton. Here's your map discussion for April the 21st, Tuesday evening, 2020. And we've had another active day across the Northeast this time. And we're dealing with more active weather, unfortunately, where we don't need it. We really don't need severe weather anywhere, but across the South and now the Mid Atlantic, I think, needs to kind of pay attention, especially the Old Dominion and into North Carolina as we go into Thursday and then again on Saturday, maybe even next week, too. So let's check it out here. Had a front go through the area today across Virginia with a high wind out there. It's gusting upwards of about 54 miles per hour in some locations in northwest North Carolina. About 45 was tops around Virginia. Most areas were between 35 and 45 miles per hour, but some trees did topple over in Franklin County today, in Callaway, and near Blackwater, Blackwater Boones Mill area of Franklin County saw some trees down in Virginia. Instability snow squalls up here across New York, and we had a lot of wind damage as we went throughout the day today. I'll put this back in motion over the past 6 hours, and you can see just these wind reports. Look at that coming out of Pennsylvania and Jersey, all the way down to the Delmarva, and now that's out to the coast. So behind it, we've got high pressure building in, and this will be the story for our Wednesday for a good part of the area. Then by the time we're looking at tomorrow, we've already got more severe weather with our next system. I mentioned it would be an active pattern yesterday, and this is our Thursday system, already bringing severe weather out to Oklahoma and parts of Texas. This will open up for the day on Wednesday with severe storms, the potential for tornadoes and large hail, damaging winds throughout Oklahoma and Arkansas through part of Texas here. So that's what I'm going to focus most of my time on tonight will be that upcoming storm system. This is the way it's going to look on the surface. It's from the Weather Prediction Center. And as we go again through tonight, we've already got severe weather breaking out in the warm air ahead of the system. Warm front and the dry line back here across West Texas. So through Oklahoma, it's going to be a busy night tonight. Then for Wednesday, that activity is in Texas, and it's in parts of Louisiana, northern Louisiana, and Texarkana region. Got more overrunning convection here, red getting up to Arkansas and the Memphis by 2 p.m. Wednesday. And then Wednesday night, it's an overnight storm once again for the south, and that always concerns you as a meteorologist. You want your folks to be awake and able to hear the warning, so hopefully people will be weather aware again going into as early as Thursday morning here. Low will occlude. That means it's getting about as strong as it's going to get. But you've still got that triple point where the occlusion zips up the cold meets the warm, basically. It's like a zipper, adds spin. You got that to worry about, I think, across northern Mississippi. You've also got areas near the warm front. There's also enhanced shear that can get involved in some of these storms. That'll be Thursday morning. Then by Thursday night, it's knocking on Virginia's door. And again, this is another triple point here. That's going to be just west of Bristol if this comes to fruition by 8 p.m. Thursday. That's going to put the warm front down across the West Piedmont of North Carolina through the Raleigh-Durham area out toward New Bern and off the coast. The warm sector will be right in through here, right across the Carolinas to Georgia and Florida. So severe weather, I think, is a good possibility here in this area for the day Thursday. Areas right along this warm front, Winston-Salem, Greensboro, Fayetteville, Raleigh. I would watch out in Wilmington for the chance of rotation, supercell thunderstorm characteristic, if we can get unstable. And we'll look at that just a second here for Thursday. Beyond Thursday, Friday's kind of an in-between day. I haven't really decided. I forecast locally in Virginia. I haven't decided how much low clouds may get into the mix here behind the storm system Friday morning and get stuck under the high pressure building in aloft with this. Sometimes you can get just a cloudy sky in between those two systems. We'll wait and see. But right on its heels is Saturday's system. And look, it's a very similar double barrel low here. We've got the occlusion. So we've got one low here, another one coming out of the Gulf. And by Sunday, it's on top of DC. But in between, probably Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening, it's going to be right through here again. And again, the flooding is another issue because the ground's very, very wet. We've got another system coming down the pike next Tuesday and the Wednesday. This one now looks like it could be an open wave and not affect the South and the Mid-Atlantic too much, but we'll wait and see. That's a long ways off, and that can certainly change, especially in this pattern. So excessive rainfall tonight, Oklahoma. Tomorrow, for a good part of the South here, moderate risk of excessive rainfall, flooding, and marginal risk all the way north of Mason-Dixon line, all the way through Kentucky. Slight risk of excessive rainfall. This is the flooding potential, basically, South Carolina, Georgia, and the Florida Panhandle. How's SPC handle it? Is slight risk here where we're getting the severe weather now. That's verifying fairly well. There goes our front. This looks like a bunny to me, facing the four corners. There's his ears. But on a serious note, enhanced risk once again. Red River Valley, Texarkana. Wednesday, Thursday. Again, the warm front may dictate how our slight risk gets tweaked as we go through the next couple of days. That marginal too. So everyone has a chance of a thunderstorm, but depending on how far north that warm front can go will be the big question. Scanner down. I wanted to show you first. This is the GFS storm relative helicity, first 3 kilometers of the atmosphere, basically showing us where the coast spin is forecast by the computer model. So this is tonight. See, it's all in Oklahoma. Now, you have to kind of ignore the values up here because this doesn't account for the fact that there's no cape up here. So that's really not effective helicity. Effective helicity is what we can use to ingest into the storm, and that coincides with where the instability is going. So we're going to do a little addition by addition here and bring in the Euro for the cape. Okay, and I'm not trying to cherry pick the models by chance. This is what I came across that looked the best as far as the color tables. I like to show different maps. So here we go. Wednesday morning, high values, very high values for a good part of the South. This would indicate the potential for storms and rotating updrafts through Kentucky and Tennessee if the Cape can get there. Again, this is as early as 2 a.m. on Thursday, 1 a.m. local time. Then for 1 or 2 p.m. on Thursday, depending on what time zone you're in, most of the east here will be in the 2 p.m. time zone Thursday at 8 High values get advected north, moved north into Virginia, the Old Dominion, through West Virginia, down through the Carolinas. Thursday could be an active day. All right. And then we've got more high values. Put this forward a little bit. This is Saturday. So we can get unstable Saturday areas near that warm front, which will probably be right through here where the color grading is. Yeah, there'll be some potential for some rotation. And if not, at the very least, possibility of flooding and some heavy. Go back to the Euro, look at the ability. Again, this is going to line pretty much up with the storm prediction. This is tomorrow morning. You can see the instability. It's a computed value, but it looks like it's a real thing because it's actually circulating around that area of low pressure. It comes in basically with the moisture in the Gulf. When you add dew points, high dew points, and moisture to a given air parcel, you really increase its instability quite a bit if other conditions are met. So it gets cooled up here across South Texas, Southeast Texas, near the Gulf Coast. And again, there's not a ton of cape, but there's a heck of a lot of shear. So it's another one of those highly sheared, low cape environments where a lot can go wrong or right if you don't want to see tornado. Wrong if you storm chaser, I guess. But sometimes the shear basically can rip apart a storm, or you get too much shear, you get too much lift, and you get a bunch of rain. And we've had that a lot. Rain wrapped tornadoes, hard to see stuff if you're not a radar expert. And that could happen again across the South. Not your classic well-defined hooks that stand alone as discrete supercells. In fact, you may see rain embedded with embedded supercells or spinning along a QLCS type thing. Now, look what happens through the Carolinas Thursday late afternoon, according to the Euro. A little bit of Cape here, and low to moderate, kind of low, about 1,000. You can get tornadoes with 1,000. Not saying that's going to happen, but sometimes the low Cape high shear, sometimes that high shear can compensate with the low Cape and work with it. Again, a lot of it will depend on how the rain and the storms evolve. And I think a lot of it's just luck, honestly, or if you're unlucky, as far as how the rain stabilizes a pool in the atmosphere, and that could choke off the thunderstorm development, or if rain times itself just right to clear out when the day heats up. I know in Virginia here in 2016, we had a situation in Appomattox Evergreen where it was another one of these situations. We didn't know if the wedge was going to break and the warm front was going to lift through. Turns out it broke because the rain had moved off, and we were able to break into the warm sector. Just happens to be the timing of that was as the afternoon was heating up. So we got into the low 70s that day on EF3 tornado. So, it's all about timing and just kind of dumb luck with a lot of this. But there's a lot of potential here. And so my advisory to you would be from the Tennessee Valley south through the Gulf of Mexico states here into the mid-Atlantic as far north as Charlottesville. You need to be on guard into Thursday night, all night Thursday night, and into early Friday. With even Eastern Virginia here early Friday as the system moves through. And you can see a repeat performance here. More of a occlusion here looking on the Cape here as for Saturday night. And again, I talk about that triple point. You've got basically your warm front is slower, your colder air is faster, and the cold air catches up, the cold front catches up to the warm front, and it occludes. And at the point of occlusion, this is happening. And if you've got some spin that's already going on, this can tighten that spin and can get something forming tornado-wise. So I think Saturday also needs to be watched in the Saturday night. And this timing could change some. And there's another storm Wednesday of next week with minimal Cape, probably some as well. Finally, I'll show you what it looks like. The Euro, this is the 500. I showed this yesterday. Let's put this into motion. Look at this pattern. We get a disturbance, then another one, and they seem to come out of nowhere. And what's really happening in the atmosphere is we are pressing together the jet stream, basically. It's meeting a roadblock, and instead of having waves that go nice and smooth like this, it's getting scrunched together. So where there's little ripples, any little ripple that normally would flow through the pattern unnoticed is getting enhanced as it dives down to our area. So you can see how the ripples come down, and you see the greens and the purples here kind of showing you the height anomalies getting stronger as the waves enhance themselves. The wavelength gets shorter and more amplified. But it's basic wave mechanics, basically, in the upper level. But this is our Thursday wave right through here. Here comes our Saturday wave. And even some stuff behind that, maybe a backdoor cold front of sorts, or a front that comes in from the north Monday and the Tuesday for the East Coast. And then again, Wednesday, this was forecast yesterday to be a little further south. Now it's further north. Euro still has it closed off. The GFS doesn't. Still watching this, though, for middle and late next week. That is some cold air. I mean, it's not really cold, but it's very cool for this time of the year. So that's going to keep it frosty and freezy. And yeah, lots of more advisories coming out probably, and a lot more wind coming up in this pattern. That's all for now. I advise you to stay weather aware as we go into the next 24 hours.